good, family? This is Corey, your friendly neighborhood massage technician, bringing you life, love, and liberation. And this is Healing Tones, where I come on here and bless you with some words, poetry, prose, movements, exercises, whatever, what have you, with the hopes that it brings a light, blessing, or good feeling to your day. Yay, right? Right. So we are still on our phone rolling series. So far, what we have worked has been our feet. We have worked on our legs, and we are about to work on our back. Yeah. So, being to the fact that the back is a very broad and big muscle, we're going to have to break this up into several different sections. And I'm going to start with the lower part of the back, which I feel is a very, very important area of our body, period. You know what I mean? Very important area of the body. That goes into, because I really didn't get into the glutes in the last video, but of course they're attached to the legs. But I really didn't like get into any exercises with that. So we're going to talk about the glute area running along the spine. We're going to go into the coccyx, the sacral, and the lumbar spine. And that's going to be the main areas we're going to be working. We're going to talk about a little of the nomenclature that surrounds those areas of the body. And we are going to be using, as far as our tools go, to work on these areas. We have, or we're going to come back to, our balls. There's a way that we can use our balls on our back. Of course, we have our foam rollers, our thick one, and our general foam roller, and we have our body maps, and we have our ground and our wall that we'll be using today, right? So, to kick this off, let's talk about some of these areas of the body that we're going to be working on. So, if we're looking at our map here, our good old trusty handy dandy map, we will be surrounding the area here, which is our glutes, glute max, gluteus maximus, gluteus medius, and gluteus minimus. The maximus covers the whole buttocks. The medius is in between there, kind of connecting a little bit to the hip area on the inside part. And the medius is like upwards. I can't naturally remember exactly what the medius is, but it's like more up along the side of the upper part of the pelvis, somewhat like a little anterior, more so than the maximus and the medius. We have, going down this area where our spine starts, our coccyx, where our spine begins, which is a little like a fused 2 to 4 bone area. We have our sacral, which is a whole fuse in, or pretty much with the coccyx, and the sacral is the only fused bone of our spine. It's the only one that sits together in of itself. And I'm gonna come back to that. And then working our way up, we have our first 5 vertebrae of the spine, which is a part of our lumbar. And they end at I would say like where the first part of our ribs starts, pretty much where our diaphragm begins. And that kind of is where we first begin to catch up to breath. So the lumbar kind of sits in between how we stand and how we breathe. There's something in that. I'm just gonna come back to it. So to kick this off, just a little bit of the nomenclature we have with the body parts we're gonna be working with today. I already mentioned the gluteus maximus, which in its nomenclature name that is used in common medical terms, which common medical terms relate to Latin and Greek, which are Eurocentric. I just want to throw that out there, but you should know. You should know. Um, the gluteus maximus is a very simple term that means gluto, in I believe in Latin and Greek. Gluto means rump. So really, all they're saying when they're talking about the nomenclature of the gluteus is the big rump, gluteus maximus, the mid rump, gluteus medius, and the little rump, the gluteus minimus, right? Not too much going on there. Now they have the coccyx, which is, like I said, those are tailbone, if you will. It's usually between 2 and 4 bones that are fused together, depending on like your body type, your person. Like you may have 2, you may have 4, you may have 3. I don't know, but it's different for all people. Um, Nomenclature of the coccyx is what it is said, coccyx. In Greek and Latin, it is coccyx. And it refers to a cuckoo bird. And the cuckoo bird, its bill looks like a the bill looks like a coccyx, or the coccyx look like the cuckoo's bill. So it's really just referring to something that looks like something. And a lot of the nomenclature of the body that is used in Latin and Greek is either referring to what the muscle does or refers to what the muscle looks like. It's like it's going to be one or the other. What it looks like a rump, or it looks like a bird's bill, or what it does. And I need to find a muscle that explains what it does to actually get you an example of that. But we'll go on. So now we're on to the sacrum, which of course is the muscle that, not muscle, the bone that sits above the coccyx. And it is a fused bone that connects the glutes, which is the glutes being one of our most strong muscles in our body, and probably most important because the purpose of the gluteus is to stand us upright. That is what it does. It helps us stand upright. It helps us use our humanoid posture. You know, what got us to stand up is our butt. So the sacrum in of itself, like its nomenclature name in Latin is os sacrum. And in Greek, it is, if I may pronounce this wrong, is eron osteon, right? And both of those names refer to the holy bone. They're calling it, the sacrum is the holy bone. The sacrum is a sacred bone. Okay. What else to go into that? There's some other things I kind of like saw in researching the ideas of the sacrum, and from its like biblical meaning, if you will. Like the sacrum was the sacrum. How do you explain this? Upon Judgment Day, right? When supposedly when you pass and you are to be judged by what you do in the world, they say that you are judged by how well your sacrum is intact or active or used. So in essence, if I can explain this correctly, when you are to be judged, you are judged by how you stand up. So if you stand upright, like by use of your sacrum to your judgments, you will be upright. You will be right. You have stood up to your judgment. Think about that. On top of the fact, hold on. You have stood up to your judgment. On top of the fact, say if you are being judged and you don't stand up, right? Like say by misuse of your sacral spine, because if you're, by leaning over, or like how a lot of people tend to have back pains later on in their lives and they can't work or whatever, like the ability to hold your sacrum for the rest of your life to where you can work properly upon judgment day when you leave is like what is most important about the sacrum. You should be able to stand upright for the rest of your life if you are using your sacrum properly. Okay? That is what I'm getting at here. The sacrum is a very important muscle. Sorry, bone. On top of the fact, again, looking at some other sources and things of that nature when it comes to the sacrum, it is our procreative source. It is the source of our work and how we do in the world. So again, you are judged by what you do, and what you do is connected to how you stand upright. So very important. Okay. Also, let me throw this in there. Greek, or the Greek interpretation of this holy bone, is also an interpretation of where they got it from, which is Egyptian by nature, is Osiris's bone, Osiris's sacred bone. So the Greeks pulled that from Egyptian mythology, and they created their own mythology out of the sacred bone. So let's not get it twisted. We think this way too. Anyway, so what else? I did talk about the lumbar spine and its importance. I also wanted to draw your attention to its importance with the chakra system, the red and the yellow chakras, root chakra and sacral chakra. Technically, as I've already been mentioning, because I'm really just trying to draw your collective idea around the idea that these two areas of the body are how we work and how we perceive our work. The root chakra is our survival chakra, our work chakra, how you live in this world. Survival is living, how you live. So the root is your work. The root chakra is your work chakra, okay? On top of the fact that our sacral chakra is our pleasurable chakra, how we view or how we feel the world we're in. So your root chakra is your work. The sacral chakra is how you feel about it. Okay? Those two chakras in of themselves determine everything that you are, what you do, and how you feel about what you do, which goes into the next one, the yellow chakra, which I don't know the name of it at this point. I have to look it up. But that chakra in of itself is who you are. So what I do, how I feel about what I do, and what I am, right? If you don't have an understanding of those first three chakras, you will never get to the rest, ever. Because you have to understand what you do, and you have to understand how you feel about it to know who you are, to see the rest. Anyway, so that's just a quick little nomenclatured descriptions of what's going on with the body in this lower part of the body before we get into the foam rolling techniques that I am going to address and see if they help you as much as they help me. But since we are already since we're already up to about the 15-minute mark, I am going to come back with the next video as your tutorial for your lower back foam rolling series. Okay, so I'll be back in a couple minutes, and I will see you soon.